What's going on, Lifestyle Maverick? Welcome inside this video where you're going to be learning the importance of cleaning the slate and how to do effectively, which is really the essence of reloading your true Maverick, okay? And I'm going to be explaining why. These are the two key outcomes for today, guys. As I just mentioned, we want you to walk away with an understanding of why we even clean the slate and how it will actually help you to reload your Maverick, and also how to do it effectively. Because it's all well and good to have theory, but unless we have actionable items to be able to go out in the real world with, well, it's not going to do much, is it? Okay, now firstly, what the fuck does cleaning the slate even mean? Pretty simple, really. Exactly as it sounds. Okay, in the context of your gut though, all right? So I want you to think of your gut as a chalkboard that's got lots of little squiggles and doodles all over it, heaps of chalk on the ground next to it, and it's just dirty. It hasn't been cleaned for like 3 or 4 weeks, okay? That's what your gut, and this is what we're going to do to it, okay? We're going to be literally wiping the slate clean so that when the time does come for you to be able, for you to, you know, take it to that next level and start punishing yourself in the gym and really lifting heavy and striving for gains and eating lots of food, you're actually able to adapt to that stress effectively and efficiently, okay? Now, why do we even bother doing this? Okay, a couple of key reasons, but I want you to first consider some basic fundamental concepts first, guys, because I know if you're anything like me, when I first was introduced to the concept of detox and organic and all that sort of stuff, I was, you know, a bit skeptical. I was like, oh man, organic food is just too expensive and it's all hocus pocus and, you know, only vegans and shit should do that and da-da-da-da. So I want you to think of this for a second, okay? How long did it take for the human to evolve to, you know, where we were able to hold conversations and you know, not kill each other, basically? How long did that take, right? Several thousand years, probably millions of years, depending on what train of thought you follow. It's a lot of years, okay? Now, the concept of organic food in comparison has only been around for the last 50, 60 years. And you know why? Because before then, it was just called food, right? And that's because commercial farming has made it to the mainstream. And the reason for that is because, you know, we've got a population crisis and we've needed to be able to produce enough food to cater for the ever-growing population. Okay, now that doesn't necessarily mean that the quality of life of the population is going to be any better. In fact, what we're noticing now is that it's actually getting worse, right? For most people around the world, okay? So what's happening is that the food is keeping us alive, but the quality of life is not really there, okay? So a big reason I pre-frame this part with that is because I know a lot of people will be like, oh, you know, detox plans don't work and organic this, organic that, it's all bullshit. But guys, let me hit you smack between the face with this, all right? If you're thinking like that, well, that's why you're here. Because that way of thinking means that you have gotten to a point where you're looking for another result. You're looking for another way of doing things, okay? So it's my job to make sure that you keep an open mind, you put aside what you think you know, and come to this with an open mind and be willing to learn, because you may actually learn something that is like the missing piece to your puzzle, okay? Conversely, if you don't learn something, or rather if it doesn't work for you, putting this into practice, well, go and find something that does work for you, okay? Now, the reason why we do this, guys, is because whether you like it or not, modern day foods are filled with toxins from environmental pollutants and chemical residues, which is all used in the processing process. I said processing twice. And not only that, but the tap water is straight up shit, okay? And this is important, guys, because, you know, like the body is mostly water and we know we need food to survive. We know we need food and water to survive, okay? And if both of those are shit and laden with chemicals, well, it's going to influence your health drastically, yeah? Not only that, but modern commercial farming these days actually renders many foods void of any actual nutrients because of the disrespect to the soil. Okay, I'm going to be breaking that down a little bit further in another slide. But ultimately, the reason the outcome of all these things can lead to health issues for you. Okay, so things like leaky gut syndrome, where you literally have holes in your gut, which can allow undigested food particles and pathogens to pass freely into your gut. And here's a fact, guys. Until something passes through your intestinal wall, it's technically still outside your body, okay? Parasite and fungal infections. Now, if you have a leaking gut, okay, and your gut is allowing undigested food particles and bad bugs to go freely into your blood, that's going to stimulate an immune response. Now, if your immune system is busy fighting off, pathogens, then it's going to give the opportunity to a parasite or fungal infections to take root, because these are opportunistic organisms, meaning that if you don't respect your body and you don't look after your health, well, then parasite and fungal infections will take place. They're like Mother Nature's garbage collectors, yeah? If you treat your body like garbage, well, they're going to come along and pick up the garbage, okay? If you look at the root cause of all diseases, a lot of them can be linked, not a lot of them, all of them can be linked back to a imbalance in the good and bad bacteria in your gut. And that's a key point, guys, because we all have bacteria and bugs in our gut. It's just whether you have a good relationship with them or an actual infection, okay? Now, aside from that, guys, if your gut health is not all that good, what did I say before? Until something passes through your gut wall, it's technically outside your body. But if your gut wall is not really all that good at absorbing food, well, then you're not going to be able to absorb food properly. Pretty simple, right? Not only that, guys, but your gut is your second brain, okay? So your brain and your gut are literally connected by a nerve known as the vagus nerve. And many of the neurotransmitters that your brain uses to communicate messages through your body are actually produced in your gut. So if your gut health isn't being looked after, then your ability to produce the right concoction of neurotransmitters for your unique Mverick is going to be impaired. You can forget building muscle, okay? So in reality, if you're not looking after your body, this is what your gut will look like. This is a whipworm infection. Okay? Symptoms include things like bloody diarrhea, nausea, vomiting. Okay, now to get an infection like this, you'd actually have to be eating like mounds of shit, like literal actual shit or fecal matter. Okay, so it's a common infection in dogs, for example, which is why you always want to get them wormed. Okay, but I wanted to put this picture in here, guys, to give you a view of what could actually be happening inside of you if you're not looking after your gut. Okay, and these guys will take over. They can actually mimic certain hormones. They can hijack your immune system. They can literally hijack your body and get you to do things that you shouldn't be doing. Like, it sounds quite evil, but it's true. Like, a lot of sugar addictions can be linked back to a parasite infection because they feed off of undigested sugars and proteins as well. Okay, so just to kind of scare you a little bit. Now, that's not all right? As I mentioned, your body produces neurotransmitters mostly from the nutrients it absorbs from your food, okay? Being the key word, absorbs, all right? Because you can digest and not absorb. So think about this. If your body is not absorbing nutrients, then how the fuck do you expect to produce ample amounts of stuff that makes you feel good? Yeah, so you can do life. Okay, forget building muscle, as I said. I'm just talking about feeling good and being productive in your life. Yeah. Now, guys, if you're not absorbing food, that's technically known as malabsorption. Okay, which again will lead to you being malnourished. And if you're malnourished, right, that's a stress. Yeah, your body literally is being stressed out. Excuse my dog, I think somebody just rocked up. Your body is literally being stressed out by the fact that it can't recover from the stresses that you're imposing on it because it can't absorb nutrients. Right? Now, if you throw in the mix of life and, making money and paying rent and looking after kids, you got kids and all that sort of stuff, and then you throw in training, well, that's a lot of stress. Okay? And nutrients help you to deal with stress. That's why we need to eat and why we need to drink water and why we need to sleep so that we can recover and go out and seize the day, baby, okay? So nutrients are really important with that. But, again, only if you're absorbing them. Key word there, guys, all right? And you enhance your ability to absorb by looking after your gut health, okay? Now, moving forward, how do we actually do that? Well, you clean the slate effectively, okay? 3 key steps to this. Follow a detox protocol. Okay, an elimination diet, and you supercharge it with detox supplements, which we're going to go through. You switch to organic foods, you eat the right mix of foods for your unique Mverick. Now, on the elimination diet and detox supplements front, you eliminate shitty food, all right? Unequivocally shit food. Don't overcomplicate this, guys. Like, there's, if you've been eating largely processed foods and foods that come in packages, okay, then you're going to want to get rid of those, okay, because they're unequivocally shit, right? Now, there are some foods that are obviously still not that good for you, but you may not be aware of that, and we'll go through that in your detox protocol. In fact, it's probably easier just to go through what foods you should be eating instead of what you shouldn't be eating, because the fact is a lot of foods really aren't all that great for you, at least in this phase of the program. And a big reason why we do this, guys, is so that you can hear your body, okay? I always use the analogy of the alcoholic here, okay? So think about, the first time you had a beer, okay, if you drink, then that beer got you drunk, right? But over several other exposures, 4, 5, 6, 7 beers, now it takes you like 10, 12, 13, 14 beers to get drunk. Okay, same thing happens with food. Okay, let's say you drink milk, for example. First time you drank milk, might have gotten a pain in the belly, might have gotten a bit of a blocked nose, but you didn't know that was a response to it. You just, you're like, oh, that happened. Okay, and then you continue to drink milk and blah, blah, and nothing, you didn't even notice it because you were so used to it, right? But after you take the stressor, the milk, away, your body can lower its guard. It can lower the hormones that help you to deal with stress. And then if you reintroduce it, you'll then become more apparent. You'll become more aware of the stress that's actually causing on your body. You can literally hear your body's cries for help. Okay. Also eliminating inflammatory foods like gluten. So that's the protein found in wheat. Okay. So like I was saying before, some foods you may not know are bad for you. Things like muesli or Wheat Bix even, they're not inherently bad foods, but just for this phase, you want to be getting rid of things that could be upsetting your stomach, okay? Getting rid of dairy. Not many people can actually digest dairy, especially processed dairy. Getting rid of soy, nuts, foods high in omega-6 fatty acids as well, so things like grain-fed meat. Drinking filtered water only, okay? Don't need to go too technical on this. Just get a good quality filtered jug and fill it and use that. And supercharging it with detox nutrients. So these are our top picks here, guys. The one on the right is the Trio Cleanse. You can buy that from the link down below. This is a pretty non-invasive program. You just take those sachets, one in the morning, one at lunch, one in the afternoon. It's got a good meal plan in there as well. And it's not too invasive. Like, you don't have to, give up your day job to be able to do it, so to say. The 14-day Smart Cleanse, that is a little bit more restrictive. Still not too bad. Only goes for 2 weeks. The Trio goes for 3 weeks. The only thing I'd say about the 14-day Smart Cleanse is if you do it, make sure you're never too far away from the bathroom, because there's a colon cleanse supplement in there that is quite aggressive, okay? It's still a very good one. In fact, I probably prefer that. I kind of enjoy the aggressive colon cleanse myself, but that's just me personally, all right? So choose at your own will. Switching to organic foods, or as your grandparents called it, food. Like I mentioned, guys, organic is a fairly new concept, okay? Organic food is free from harmful chemical residues from pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, rodenticides, anything side. That's not to say that they don't use pesticides, but what they do use is like certified safe to be used on food, okay? Meaning safe for you. The soil is also treated with care and rotated properly. So what that means is that when a farm, plants a crop and then harvests that crop, that whole process of giving life to a crop and then actually harvesting the ground, actually tearing up the topsoil, that's very stressful to the soil. So in an organic farming principles, in particular biodynamic, they are sure to make sure that once they've planted in one area, they'll then go to another area and leave that area that was planted to give it time to heal itself, basically, to bring nutrients back in the soil, bring nitrogen back in the soil. And it does this by growing weeds, actually. Weeds are Mother Nature's way of pulling nutrients back into the soil, okay? Now, do you want to know what the chemicals do? Basically, they kill shit, okay? Now, look at these photos, all right? I just Googled pesticides, all right, and went to images, and this is what came up, all right? Like, you really don't need a degree in molecular biology or, pesticidology or whatever you want to know that this shit ain't good for you, man. Like, look at this guy spraying stuff on, looks like cabbage or kale or something. And look at the suit he's wearing. Like, that alone should tell you, like, dude, you're wearing that. Like, why the fuck would I want to eat whatever it is you're spraying on my food? Okay? And then the sign there, warning, pesticides, skull and crossbones. Fire will cause toxic fumes. Like, Guys, do you really need much more proof to know that this shit is bad for you, or are you just going to continue to live in ignorance, right? Now, this is the thing about pesticides, guys, and anything else aside, right? They attack the hormone and nervous systems of invasive species, right? Now, think about this. What do hormones do? Yeah? They allow you to procreate and they allow you to grow. What does your nervous system do? It allows basically every bodily action in your body to happen, yeah? If you're taking on chemicals that attack your hormone system and your nervous system, what do you think is going to happen? All right, I'll leave your imagination to deal with that one. Now, what happens when they do spray it on there is it seeps into the plant. Like, you guys know this from basic photosynthesis, you know, sorry, I don't know why that word came to mind. From basic science, right, that plants literally absorb sunlight, they absorb water. They're going to absorb the chemicals that are sprayed on them, right? And toxins, guys, they get stored in fat cells, all right? So the reason for that is because it's a toxin. So your body actually creates a fat cell to be able to basically lock it away so it doesn't wreak any damage on your system, okay? So this is a big reason why you want to be going for organic food, okay? Because especially meat, because if you go for commercially farmed meat, they'll be laden with toxins brought through all the fat. And not only that, but this is another reason why you want to lose fat fairly slowly, because if you lose it too fast, those toxins get released back into your bloodstream, and that's a lot of burden on your liver, okay? So your liver is the highway for fat burning. So if you want to be burning fat, you want to make sure that your liver's obviously performing very well. Now, here's a pretty scary infographic that I pinched off the internet. Okay, I'm not going to go through it now, but as you can see, it's a lot of sad pictures, upset kids, and one happy guy up the back there making money from your ill health. So if you want to go through this, pause the video, have a look through it. All right, now just quickly, guys, I want to explain to you the circle of life. This is actually a drawing from a mentor of mine, Paul Chek, okay, C-H-E-K. He's pretty out there. He's got some cool concepts. He's a holistic health practitioner. Now, this is the wheel of life, he calls it, circle of life, whatever you want. And it basically shows how we are all one, all right? So what happens is that the soil is filled with little bugs, yeah, earthworms, microorganisms that eat the organic material in the soil, and then they shit out very, very acidic acids that literally melt rock. And then from the rock, it then liquefies and makes available all the nutrients and vitamins and minerals that are inside the rock. And then that actually gets fed through a kind of like a highway system, if you like, called hyphae, H-Y-P-H-A-E. I think I spelled that right. And which has been set up by the fungi in the soil. And then that feeds the plant. And in return, the fungi feeds off the sap that the plant creates. Okay, so it's this symbiotic relationship where the fungi provides nutrients for the plant provides nutrients for the fungi, and the fungi also helps to protect the plant against invasive species as well by literally like if there's a parasite infection, it will literally catch it in this web-like structure called the hyphae and literally decompose it. So yeah, you vegetarians out there, think about that the next time you think you're saving the plants. Now, obviously, what happens to the plants afterwards? The animals come along, they eat the plants, and we come along and eat the animals and the plants as well. And when we die, we go back to the soil. So, guys, again, like, you know, pretty basic concepts, yeah, that we all know innately. Okay, so not really open to debate. Now, eating the right mix of foods for you. This is a concept known as metabolic typing, pioneered by a guy by the name of Dr. William Wolcott, and first founded upon by a guy named Dr. Weston A. Price. Came up with the concept of biochemical individuality, which really just comes down to this, guys: survival, right? And really all it means is that you're a product of your environment, okay? So think about this, like, think about pictures that you've seen of Antarctica or Alaska or, you know, really arid, cold places. What do you see there? Not much, right? Like just snow, basically, and ice. And obviously animals, like fairly big, fatty animals. And there's a reason for that, guys. The environment obviously doesn't provide much in the way of food. So therefore, the life that is around there has to have a lot of energy dense nutrients, and fat contains twice as much energy as carbs and protein. So that's why you find those sorts of foods more prevalent in those areas of the world. The closer you get to the equator, obviously, what do you find more of? Tropical fruits, vegetables, starchy fruits and vegetables, leaner meats, those sorts of things. So where your ancestral heritage comes from will largely dictate what diet, what mix of food you operate best on. Not only that, but your unique Mverick, depending on the unique, the unique concoction of neurotransmitters that you need, that will largely dictate what type of diet you work best off of as well. Okay, and what you'll generally find is that extreme and charged Mavericks will function better off a protein and fat diet, because protein and fat tends to provide a higher amount of tyrosine, which is a precursor to dopamine, and also those sorts of foods tend to stimulate more acetylcholine in the brain as well. Chameleon and passionate Mavericks, we tend to operate best off a mixed diet, and architect Mavericks, who need higher levels of serotonin, tend to operate better on a carb-based diet, because carbs help with serotonin production in the gut. Okay, so how do you find out? Well, firstly, you clean your slate so you can listen to your body, as I said before. Okay. The second thing you do is you experiment with breakfast. And the reason you do that is because you're more sensitive to food at that time, because you haven't eaten, right? You got nothing in your gut. So you take something on board, you're going to be more sensitive to the reaction that you have to the food. Now, just looking at these pictures, which one do you naturally gravitate towards? I'm a passionate Maverick. So I'm a bit more of a mixed type. So I look at all three and I go, fuck, they all look good. Yeah. But generally speaking, this is what's going to happen. If you're an extreme or a charged Maverick, you're probably going to look at the steak and eggs and go, oh, yummy. If you're a mixed Maverick, like myself, a chameleon or a passionate Maverick, you're going to look more at the middle picture, balance of protein, fat, and carbs. And if you're an architect, you're probably looking more at something like a lighter breakfast, small bowl of muesli with fruit and yogurt, something like that. Okay. Now, this is generally speaking, guys. Okay. You will find that different stresses in your life, different points in your life, you're probably going to need, more protein and fat, or you're probably going to need more in the way of carbohydrates. Okay, this is why we clean the slate, guys, so that you can learn to listen to your body to understand its unique needs at that particular point in time. Because we are adaptive organisms, and we're forever in a state of flux, and there's always different stresses coming at us, and therefore different needs that your body has to be able to deal with those stresses. Okay, so just as a recap, guys, what we need to do is we need to eliminate shit food and supercharge our gut health with good quality detox nutrients. Okay, you need to switch to organic food, and if you're not going to do it for the health purposes, guys, at least do it for your taste buds. Yeah, that's why I put this GIF in there. Yeah, if anyone remembers this episode of The Simpsons, I'm going to tell you the truth here. All right, it's not because Homer ate a really hot chili. All right, it's because he ate a non-organic chili. That's why. All right. Now, the other thing as well you want to do is drink only filtered water. Guys, you know that the body is mostly water, so make sure you're getting good quality water. Again, don't overcomplicate it. Yeah, just get good quality shit in you. And it's a bit ironic, isn't it? Good quality shit. Anyway, moving on. And eat the right mix of foods for you. Okay, so all pretty simple stuff, guys. Go through this video again to recap if you need to. All right, now on the training front, okay, you guys need to understand that the whole detox process can be quite stressful in your body. You may find that you're actually feeling a bit shit doing this. And that's because, like I said before, when you take on board foods and toxins, things that aren't meant to be in your body, that causes a stress response, okay? And so that you don't feel that stress, your body releases stress hormones. But when you start to take away those bad things, your body will settle down its stress hormones. But the flip side of that is that you'll then start to feel all the underlying issues that those stress responses were hiding. Okay, it's kind of like having withdrawals. Okay, if you've had withdrawals from something. Now, on the training front, use the break-in routine, which is in the first week of training section in this course. Okay, so yeah, use that. But above all, think anti-stress. Okay, so if you're feeling like your body needs to heal, and you may not know what that means, but if just again, think simple. Like if you're feeling shit, if you're feeling like you're just sluggish and tired, well, just chill out. Okay, focus more on anti-stress stuff. Do some yoga. There's a good app called Down Dog. and that's a really good yoga app. You can just do like 15, 20-minute yoga sessions before bed. That stuff's going to help to really lower your stress levels and also give you some good mobility and some strength as well. If you do need to get your fix of training, okay, like you just can't live without it, make it short, make it intense, okay, but do not drain yourself, all right? And keep it to like maximum 3 sessions in the week, all right? Yeah, and no longer than like 20, 30 minutes for the session, guys, okay? Either that or, as I said, follow the break-in routine, which is just a really toned-down version just to get the wheels moving and get you, getting stable and getting the movement patterns right for what you need to be doing here, okay? And guys, just think, you are reloading your Mverick here. So give yourself the time you need to set the right foundations so that you can do that effectively, all right? Now, above all else, guys, follow through, all right? Part of the Mverick code is to get shit done, all right? So watching this video, thinking about it, researching detox things, all well and good, but the reality is that you're not going to know what this stuff does for you unless you put it into practice and put it under your own unique microscope and see how it fits for your individual Mverick, all right? So that's it from me, guys. I know it was a bit of a longer video. No, I'm going to explain that in a different video. All right, guys, peace out. See you in the next one.